Welcome to Quilting with Mary Beth and Donna. Today we'll talk about what's new, what's under our needle, and then we will have a conversation about influential quilters in the quilting world today. We're glad you're here. Hello, Mary Beth.
Your adventure. Hello, Donna. Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm great. How are you?
I am good. It's 9 o'clock in the morning and I'm here, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, and you don't have your jammies on. That's a good thing.
Yes, it is a good thing. Um, I just wanted to say that I did not close my basement door when before I started, and so there are at least 2 dogs down here, so we might be greatly offended by Thea at some point, but that's okay.
Fun.
So what is new with you? What kind of stories have you got for us today?
Well, let's see. I took the Design 180 freshman Tucker University class, one of them, the first one. And I was that one student that lagged behind, on one little segment of it because I couldn't figure out what the world, how do you do this? But anyway, I got it. And so I caught up. So it was all good. And what else have I been doing? I did something yesterday, but I
How
don't
many
remember. Oh, no, I just
how many how how many, people were in that class, do you think?
think about, let's see, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, probably about 7 or so.
I have one of those rulers. I made a quilt with one of those rulers, and I did see your blocks,
Yeah.
this morning. Do you like the method?
Yes, I do like the method. She really overcut her blocks, so when I got ready to trim, I mean, she had like a quarter inch or so on each side to trim, and we didn't have that much, and all of us were saying, "Hey, wait, we don't have that much," you know? But, um, but she said, "That's okay. I may have cut my blocks bigger," so I guess she does that for the class just to demonstrate. I don't know, but it was a little that part was a little confusing, but, yes, I do like it, and I was worried about the one block I did, the I think it was the last one we did. It was difficult because as quilters, we're used to lining up our corners, and if you sew on a diagonal, you sew from corner to corner. Well, in this one, when you when you put the ruler on, you have to draw your lines and they're not corner to corner. So it was offset and wonky looking. And finally, I had like 4 lines drawn on the back of my piece, and I kept thinking, "I'll never get this sewn right because I've got too many lines to think about." But then I just said, "Forget it, they're all getting ahead of me, I've gotta do this." So I sewed on the lines I thought were right, and they turned out to be the right ones, so yay. But the block turned out perfect. I mean, I love this. I think I'm gonna really like these classes and learning how to use, and I have a boatload of rulers because I just kept buying them. I knew I was gonna take the class, so I'd just buy one here and there, and so now I think I have everything I need for that class, so yay.
And you said this was through Tucker University?
Yes. They have a website, I guess, Tucker University. The teacher is in Ohio, and I can't remember I won't even try to tell you the name of the, quilt store that she works at or whatever, but she's a teacher and, she's really good. I appreciate when teachers take on teaching quilting because they know how to teach, and if they have a problem child, they know how to work with them, so that helps.
And there's always a problem child when you're in the class?
Yep, I'm always it, usually.
That's good. That's
Yeah,
good. Well, that's good. I
well,
have never even really thought about taking, a class, but You know what? I think I probably should at some point.
You know, part of
Um,
my challenge on oh, sorry. Part of my challenge on quilting with Mary Beth this year was, of course, the jars with your projects in them, so you could just draw out a piece of paper. But another one was, if you didn't wanna do that, was to do something to stretch yourself and take a class on something. And so when I started looking into taking classes, I looked around my area trying to find something that intrigued me or looked like it would stretch my creativity a little bit, and I couldn't find anything. I mean, some of them I just didn't care for the finished quilt when it was done or whatever. So then I started looking for the Studio 180 design because I knew I had all these rulers and I wanted to be able to use them. And I did find, I couldn't find anything locally that was teaching a ruler. So I just found the Tucker University, and I thought, okay, that's for me. So here we are.
how long are the how many classes are there?
Um, for the, I don't know where my piece of paper is, but for the for this class, I think it's like every 7 to 10 days is a class or every other week or something, and, it goes till the end of May or 1st of June, I believe. So it's like a semester, kind of. Started in
Cool.
March, ends in
Sub
yeah,
that's substantial.
yeah,
Interesting. Um,
and we have
I
homework and all that.
yeah, great. Great homework. Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I am, uh when I was coming back from Colorado last week, there was a stripology ruler, in my bedroom that Sheila has given us. She gave it to me,
Yay.
but it's for me to carry to the quilt retreat, so I'm gonna
Oh,
have to learn how to use it. She likes it.
I
She
have a
said her
stripology.
do you? She likes it. She said that that's really helped her in her cutting. Um,
Yeah, I
I'll
have
try.
a big
I'll
one.
try it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do too. So that'll work.
okay.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
I have actually so wait, let's see, what's new? I'm gonna say what's new. Um, unfortunately, not that anybody cares and it's fine, but, um, we had to put Elmer to sleep on Monday, and so
Oh,
he was it was time. For all of you who don't know, we adopted Elmer, like 17 months ago, October of '23, and he was an old, German Shorthair Pointer that had been abandoned and, down in, not I think maybe no, it was, I don't know, somewhere in Kansas, and so we had him for almost a year and a half, and he was a sweet boy, and they think he had some kind of a tumor or something, and he was excessively drinking water and peeing. And he didn't have
oh,
diabetes, it was just he couldn't get satisfied with the water. And so, and then he quit eating and then he was stumbling and everything. So we finally had to put him to sleep. But that allowed me to start sewing again because I didn't have to, because I would come down here and start doing something, then he'd come down here, and then I'd immediately have to go upstairs and take him out and blah blah blah. And so I spent actually 4.5 hours down here one day this week. So that's crazy for me. I might be a quilter again.
how about that? Well, I'm so sorry. He looked so sweet, and I never got to meet him, but, he just looked like the sweetest old guy.
He was a good old boy. Um, but I have to say the amount of water that that dog drank, we have one of those dog feeders, with the big I think it's a 3-gallon bucket on a water bottle on top, and we would fill that thing up every day. So that's 3 he was drinking about 3 gallons of water a day. And,
Wow.
you wonder, "Oh, with all the other dogs, because we had 5, now we have 4. I filled that, water bucket up on Tuesday morning, and it's still got water in it, so he was drinking a lot of water. And that didn't count the
Wow.
toilet access. So
Yeah.
so he was a
Well
thirsty dog.
well, that explains that, doesn't it? So
Okay, so let's talk about, what we've been sewing this week. You go first. I know you did your class, so you had to do the blocks, but you've been working on your legit kit stuff.
I have, I have I have probably a different system than anybody I've seen on, uh, whatever, YouTube, but, it's working for me, although I have to handle like, I pull out the first one and I sew it, or I pin it. I've got the pieces pinned on it, and then I put it in the next file for the next piece that goes on it, and so I probably handle them several times, but I'm working my way through it, and it's working for me, so I'm not gonna try to stop this system and try to learn one. This is working. So, I'm almost finished with it. I didn't get to work on it yesterday, and I was too tired when I got home finally, but, so anyway, I'm working on that. I am working on the Tucker University things, and, um, I finished my block of the months the other day, so all my block of the months are ready for the next one in April, and I have 2 different block of the months from City's Edge, and so, one of them I'm doing 3 each month, so I have to do 4 total block of the months each month, so I'm so happy when I got those caught up, and so that's it. What are you doing?
I too have worked on my Sophia, my legit kits. Um, I I'm not using a system. Well, I'm not using a system. I basically will take one little, block, one little I don't know what you call it, one little piece of the block, and I will make that block, and then I will go to the next one, and I'll get all the fabric, and I'll make it. And I started
Okay,
putting it together. I've got all the pieces for, there's 2 basic big blocks that you have to make this month, and I've got all of the pieces made for month 1 or for block 1, and I started putting them together, and I need to just finish. So I mean, I've gotten a lot done. I'm not quite sure how much how I don't know. I don't we'll compare next week and see
okay.
if you're faster or I'm faster, but, we'll have to
Oh,
see if I get some done.
it's not a
Because,
race.
I'm trying to win the race,
It's not
and
a
I
race.
it is a race because I said, "I don't need any stinking file folders, I can just do it," and which I am doing it, so, but I did have to buy a light I did buy a light table that came in yesterday, so I think that might help me get my
Yeah,
pieces better, so we'll see. But that is what I've been sewing this so I've actually been sewing this week, which is a shocker because I never sew, unless it's a binding or
yeah,
putting somebody else's backing together, I don't sew at all at home. But we get to sew next
yeah.
week.
Woohoo! Quilt retreat.
Next week. Woohoo! Quilt
Yay.
retreat. Okay, housekeeping, Mary Beth has a, Facebook group called Quilting with Mary Beth. Tell them about it.
Well, I started it several years ago, um, and I think we just had, like I probably started it with about 20 people, and it has grown to like 850 or 870, something like that right now. So we're a small group in comparison to some of the well-known quilters out there. Uh, but I like small. I mean, it's good because we're able to pop in, ask questions, show what we're working on. If somebody has a personal issue, I mean, I've seen posts, pray for my whoever, and so that's always been good. I do not allow any, political anything. It's out. So, because 'cause we're a quilting group, so that's what I'm trying to keep it as. And then, also, it's just a nice group, I think. I love all the ladies on there, and there's one gentleman, poor Alan, he's the only guy, but he pops in every so often and comments and posts a picture of something he's made. So his wife is a long armor, and they kind of work together, I think sometimes. He's a traveling radiology technician, so he's away from home right now. Um, so anyway, he it's pretty fun. He's a pretty fun guy, but he's our only, guy quilter on there. But anyway, it's a great group to have. I mean, they're all very helpful, and I've known a lot of them for many, many years, but haven't met them in person. So that's fun too. So anyway, that's my group.
Cool. And I,
Yeah,
am also and I'm just here as, I don't know, just to keep Mary Beth in line. But I am also I'm also a quilter. I have a, Facebook page, Donna W. Smith Quilter, and with big sunflower, if you find the sunflower, that's me. And then I also have an Instagram page, Donna W. Smith Quilter with underscores. Um, Between the words, and if you go to hashtag Donna W. Smith Quilter, you can see all my quilting without my dogs. So,
right.
okay, that's housekeeping. Okay, so, um, I don't know. We're trying to we don't know what we're doing here, but we're having a great time not doing it. So, we're trying to come up with things to do and or talk about. And one of the things that popped in to my head are the influential quilters these days. And, Mary Beth had thought about it, and I really hadn't, and so I kinda went online and just say, who do other people think are influential quilters? And I think you have, like, areas where they're of influence. Like, if you spend a lot of time in a quilt store, you're way more familiar with the fabric designers per se, um, not necessarily w quilters, quilt patterns, but you know what you understand what I'm saying? It's the fabric that is the leading edge of quilting. Would you agree?
I do agree. I think that um we have there's so many different areas, just like when I did my little spreadsheet that everybody hated, um on my page. You divide it up into patterns. So you've got the pattern designers, you've got the fabric designers, you've got the long armor, or people who long arm that are big. And sometimes the people buying the fabric have no idea who these long arm people are. And so when you say, "Oh,
Right,
have you ever seen Karen McTavish's stuff?" They're like, "Who? Oh, what? You don't know who
right,
Karen McTavish is?" But as a long
right.
armer, we know all these people, so
Yeah, and quilters tend to be name droppers, and so a lot of times you'll hear the names of the, uh, like, fabric designers, and it's like, I have no idea who that is, but they all do. They know
right.
exactly what that
Yeah,
fabric looks like. Um,
right.
so so I don't know how we wanna do this. I looked um, at a list, and you had mentioned Lori Holt, who is a fabric designer and a pattern designer too. I don't
Right.
what City's Edge does a lot of used to, I don't know if they still do, but they used to do a lot of her patterns, right?
Yeah, they did, and, like, a lot of the, Riley Blake, which she designs for, I guess. So they do a lot of Riley Blake patterns and things like that.
We have a story about Riley Riley Blake. In early 2020, I mean January of 2020, we made we went to a quilt retreat in Cedar City, Utah, um, where one of our friends had moved, and um, and it was kind of it was like in an auditorium. And so the outside of where the stage was and everything, that's where people were sewing. So it was kind of a weird situation, but they had a whole bunch of classes. They had open sewing, and then they would have stuff going on. And I don't know, the first day we were there or something, we were irritated because they were going to make us stop sewing at lunchtime because they had a speaker, and we were all grumbling like, "Rah, we just want to sew, rah, 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 rah." And of course, I was probably leading that complaining.
Probably, yeah.
And so the speaker were the 2 ladies that began Riley Blake, and, um, and so we left, and we didn't hear their presentation, and now, you can't even say Riley Blake without everybody going, "Oh my gosh, Riley Blake, blah, 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 blah." So, the only thing I learned about Riley Blake in that, afternoon was that Riley Blake are 2 names of the 2 of their children or something like that, so Riley and Blake, so
Ah,
now we know.
I see. Yeah,
Okay, so yeah,
yeah.
Riley Blake is like a big deal now, and there's a lot of people that design for them and things like that. One of the other names so if we keep on going with, let's see, people that I would consider fabric designers, you've got Alison Glass, um, anybody else?
Tula. Tula,
Tula Pink,
yeah.
and she's
Uh,
a big influencer.
what's that guy that does the funky stuff?
Which one? Juicy
You
Juice?
know, he's fabric. Oh my gosh, my brain stopped working. Um, oh well, anyway, it'll come
Oh,
to
are
me
you
probably
oh,
after.
okay, I know you're talking about. Case.
Yes, that.
Okay.
Him.
Yeah, Case, and yeah, he's kind of an interesting character because he designs fabric, but he's not necessarily really I mean, he attends some things, but he's not re I don't really think that I would not consider him a quilter. I would consider him just a fabric designer.
Right.
Everybody loves him and everything, but, I so so he is another one.
I
Um,
don't know if
okay,
everybody loves him. He's hard. His fabrics are hard to work with, I think, because 'cause they're so
he's one of those
colorful.
he's one of those that you either love him or you hate him. His
Yeah,
fabric, not him,
yeah.
his fabric.
Right.
And I don't have a lot made with him, but I have a friend who's a big, um, Judy Niemeyer, um, she's in a Judy Niemeyer club, and she makes a whole bunch of Judy Niemeyer quilts, and she can put some of those fabrics together, and they're just absolutely amazing, so it's possible,
Hmm,
which is nice
yeah.
to know. Okay, so, if you go into and I don't know, I guess I'm gonna go more into pattern makers. Elizabeth Hartman is huge,
I love her stuff.
and and her stuff is absolutely adorable, and I bought the llamas to make last year, and I just can't do it. And it amazes me how many people will make more than one of her quilts. They're like I said, they're absolutely adorable, but that to me, that's hard. That's more brain load than I can take.
Now, you know my brain, and that's my flamingo quilt was made with her flamingos, so, um, if I can do it, Donna, come on.
Well, I'll bring my 2 llamas next week, and you can help me out.
I have the llama pattern, I love it, but I haven't made it yet. I've had it for a long time. I need to jump
Yeah.
on it.
It's in the bucket or it's in the jar,
Or yep.
your jar. Another
Mhm.
name that was on this first list that I looked at was, Giuseppe Rollato or Juicy Juice. Are you familiar with him at all?
Not at all.
I took a class. I took a class, with him at, Fabric, Chic or Chick, and, it was a good class. But he does have a line of fabric, I believe, and he does a lot of classes, and he's a really nice guy. He's just one of those big names now, I believe. Um, Laura Heine, have you ever done any Laura Heine?
I have not, but I've always wanted to.
I have
Does that count?
the cat. Yeah, it does. I have the cat on my wall. She came to the Quilt Guild and I took a class, and I it was one of those where I'm going to get it done today. I'm not gonna worry too much about it because I know if I do that, it'll never get done. And so I have one, and then I wanna do the sunflower ones, but I have to buy fabric for that. So she's pretty popular. Um,
Did you do a
the and
bicycle or a sewing machine or something that was hers, or is that somebody else?
It was somebody else, but that's same type
Okay,
of similar type stuff, which is basically
okay.
applique non mm, unfinished applique or raw
Raw
edge
edge.
applique, that's what you call it, yeah.
Yeah,
So you just have to quilt the heck out of it, which is fun sometimes.
yeah. I have a donkey
Okay.
too.
Oh, that'd be good. Of hers?
I don't know who it is. It's somebody, but I can't remember. I've had it for a long time too, so it's on the list.
The Laura Heine, I don't know if it's a steer, it's a cow with horns. Is really a beautiful quilt. I'd love to make that. Oh, I did make that other one. Remember when I made the blocks with all the flowers when we were in Nebraska? That one time we went to Nebraska and I had all my blocks and I sewed them down there.
Yep.
So
Uh-huh.
I've done more
Big
than one. I've finished a huge Laura Heine quilt, so that's amazing for me.
Okay. Yeah, I do remember that. That was beautiful.
Are you familiar with Sue Spago? I don't know how you say it, Spago?
Yeah, I have heard the name.
She is the one that
Uh,
does the wool, um, applique, and they're really busy, cute little houses and flowers and, like, I
oh,
guess
yeah, yeah,
I guess they're block of the month ones. Those are really fun.
yeah, those are cute.
And who do you think are the quilters that are long arm quilters that are big these days?
Oh, boy. These days, of course, Angela Walters, she's been in there for a while and still pretty popular, I think. I don't know. I don't really follow her. I mean, I know her personally, and she probably doesn't remember me, but back in the day, we kinda quilted a little bit together at a friend's house, but, um, yeah, I don't keep up. I mean, I guess Karen McTavish is still in there, and,
I don't know. I don't
Marilyn,
know if that's true. I don't know.
you don't
I've
think? And
not
how about
seen
Marilyn?
I have not seen her a quilt of hers in a while. I don't know. I don't
Haven't
think that
you?
the quilting is not the quilters are not a big deal anymore. Now that I think that everybody has a machine, um, I know there are award-winning quilters, but it's not as big a deal, I think, as it used to be. I think
Right,
the majority of quilts now are done, with the computer just edge to edge. I mean, I don't think
right.
people aren't seeking out fabulous quilting anymore,
And
I don't think.
are modern quilters using domestic machines for their quilting a lot? Because it seems like they do a lot of straight line quilting, and that would be something you could do on a domestic. I just wondered about that.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and I'm gonna blank on the name. The lady that did the walking foot, the walking w the book called Walking,
Okay.
um, and so I think there is a lot of that, but I think they like to mail their quilts off to famous people on Instagram, I think. Um,
Uh-huh.
so and it's just there is a group called Long Arm League, and, and you have to join it, and it costs a lot of money to join it, but you get, like, patterns free patterns and, website advice and blah, blah, blah. And so that's I think that's mostly where people are going to get their modern quilts quilted. So
Okay.
shout out to that lady. Um,
Yeah.
and okay,
So a few
so are
years
you familiar with go ahead.
I was just gonna say a few years ago when, Missouri Star was kinda not first starting out, but when they were really hot, and I don't know how they are now because I don't really follow Missouri Star, but they had, like, a whole big building set up with long arms, like a sweatshop kind of, and hired people locally to teach them how to do the computerized quilting, edge to edge. And a lot of people online were just thrilled to send their quilt in to have it quilted by Missouri Star, which I didn't understand that. I thought they just don't get that it's not a personal, you know, it's not a
Relationship.
personal quilted quilt. So, like when I was machine quilting or long arm quilting, I would hang the customer's quilt on the wall, and while I was working on one, I would take a break and just kinda sit back and look at that quilt, and I would think about what I wanted to put on that quilt, whether it was edge to edge or what, the quilt talks to you. So, I would just and they don't do that there, they just grab a quilt and slap it on and away we go, you know? So, but piecers, I
They
don't
do
think
they
were
they still do quilting, a lot
yeah,
of
and
quilting.
they'd have a backlog so bad that I was in there shopping one day, and one of the clerks said, "You're a long armer?" And I go, "Well, yeah," and she goes, "Let me have your business card or your name and number because we
Got too
have,
many quilts.
like, a" Yes, they had, like, a backlog of almost a year, and I can't believe people would wanna just leave their quilt for that long just to have it quilted by Missouri Star, I didn't understand that.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. Wasn't like Jenny was doing it, you know?
No. Yeah. Um, so and Angela Walters, we mentioned her a little earlier. She is excuse me, she is, I think she's probably not so I mean, I know she's a long arm quilter and everything, but I don't think she's as much known for her quilting as now as much as she is known for uh, her YouTube videos. What's it called? Like, uh, Quilting After Dark or something. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, or
And she does
yeah.
teach she teaches a lot about quilting, how to quilt, and,
Right.
which is good, and she does, I don't know what you call I don't remember, challenges or you can get on her, email list, and they send out a lesson every month, like how to quilt a flower or how to quilt this or how to quilt that, and that's so
No,
I
yeah,
think she's way more famous for that now than her actual quilting on quilts, even though I mean, I know she quilts for Tula, um, or somebody in her group quilts for Tula, but other than that, I don't know. Julia
yeah.
Quiltoff, have you seen her stuff on Instagram?
Oh, yeah, I have, she's good.
She's really good. And then other
Yeah,
than that, I can't really think of anybody who I would say is, like, influential in quilting right now, or the actual quilting of quilts.
right,
So, um,
yeah.
I'm sure there are. Okay, other people, who else are we talking about? There it is. I like that there was a list that came out from, Quilting Daily, which is a part of the publishing, um, realm that includes Fons and Porter and, um, Quilter's newsletter, um, and all the other magazines. And so that's all Quilting Daily. And they have, let's see, they talk about innovators. I can't, don't even know who this person is. They put Marianne Fonz and Liz Porter in there. I don't really know how much they're doing anymore, if they're doing anything.
Right. I know they were influential when we started, or
Yeah,
I think so. Because
Mary
I can
Fonz is. Go ahead.
yeah, her daughter. Yeah, Mary Fonz is, in there, but and Alex Anderson also. I mean, those were all people that we started off with, and I loved watching them on TV. I do subscribe to Alex Anderson's page on Facebook or on, her I don't know, her website, and I watch some of her videos sometimes, but I really liked her on Simply Quilts. Um, but I just don't really watch too many of them on anywhere anymore.
And I have never watched. I mean, I have never watched there because there's still a quilting show out there that they're still filming, I
Yeah,
believe, but I've never seen it or anything. So
yeah,
I don't.
Alex
Yeah.
Anderson and, what's the guy's name? Like, my
Um,
brain just doesn't work today, but
we need to start writing these names down before we start this. Tim.
shouldn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we know who he
Oh
is.
my
Anyway, he's the man. He's the
Yeah.
guy.
Anyway, they have a show together and it's on her, like her, website. You go in and you can subscribe, and then you get to watch the shows that they record. Some of them are free, but most of them you have to
Yeah,
pay
you
to
have to pay
watch.
some.
So I've done that, but I'm not renewing again because I don't take the time to look at it. I've got other things to do, so
Yeah. The other, let's see, they've got listed here Catherine Roberts, who founded Quilts of Valor. Um,
Uh-huh.
and I don't even know how Quilts of Valor is really doing these days. I know that I parted way with them several years ago because of some of their policies. Um, then they've got the ladies who started the Modern Quilt Guild, which is huge now.
Right?
And I think that they are. Luana Rubin, who's started eQuilter, and I've from that area, so I've been to eQuilter and I've heard her speak a few times. There's the there's that's the sorry, uh, she's got a pig. Um, and so she's kind of one of the people that shapes the industry because they talk. The part of A Devil Wears Prada when Meryl Streep is talking about how, um, that blue sweater you have was, designed was picked for you in this room and blah, blah, blah. Luana Rubin is that kind of a person who's very into the development of what or knowing what's coming up next, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah, innovative.
Innovative, yeah, we should talk to her.
Yeah.
Um, let's see. Oh, yeah, some of these we've already talked about. Um, I don't Bonnie Hunter is I think Bonnie Hunter is still very influential in the scrappy business, isn't she?
I think so. I did follow her until, around election time the
Oh,
last time, and it was like, I don't wanna hear their opinions on that stuff. I want to hear about quilting and all that. So, when it all started, I just kinda left, and I don't pay any attention to her page anymore. So, um there was some long arm quilters that did the same, and I was like, "I'm done here too." And I really liked them, but I don't wanna hear politics, I wanna hear quilting. So
right.
so
Well, and I think also yeah, and I was just looking at the rest of the names that they listed on here, and I have never heard of any of these people. So,
I know.
and I think a lot of that has to do with and one of the things okay, let me back up. Quilting Daily had a podcast that they started, I think in 2020, and I that was a lifesaver for me because I really, really enjoyed getting on and listening to the ladies talk on this podcast. And but one of the things I found is that a lot of the people that they had on to talk and who were influential were basically had Instagram pages. And to me,
Ah,
if you and I don't want this to sound bad because if you can do this, God bless you, you know, you're wonderful. But it's takes a lot of work to have a influential Facebook page, if you know what I mean. Not Facebook, but like
yeah,
Instagram. And,
yeah,
people that are making these videos are putting a lot of time into that. And, if you're spending so much time doing that, are you really sewing and things like that? So are you really an influential quilter? That kind of that came up as a question for me.
yeah. I don't know how they do it. I wonder how I know they have people sew for them. I don't know about the people on Instagram, but, some of these pattern makers and people have sewers that um, do their sewing for them. So that helps to be able to get your product, you know, to show the videos of this stuff, but, I don't know how they do it, burning a candle at both ends, and if they have a family, how do they handle all that? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Um,
Yeah.
another person who I wanna add on this list who I think is becoming influential is, Quilting with Miss Kate. Have you seen her on
I have
Instagram?
not. No?
She, she's a personality. She's a quilter, she's a personality, and I think she has, like, an online store now, but I see her kind of moving up the ranks as being one of the influential people. You can find her at like I said, it's called Quilting with Miss Kate. She's now she was in Hawaii, and now she's in Texas, I believe, so she's a good one. Anybody else that you can think of, Mary Beth, that is influential? And I know we've left a lot of these off, but I'm not really a
Huh?
big, I don't spend a lot of time on the internet looking at and I don't watch YouTube videos either, so I don't know if I'm a good person to even think about this.
Well, I do watch YouTube, but I can't think of anybody, like I'm horrible with names, so, yeah, I've gotta start writing this down before we do these, but, the lady that Karen that's in Canada that does the videos, she'll do interviews with people once in a while, um, Just Get Her Done Quilts, that's what it is. She's pretty influential, I think, a lot of people watch her. The people out in oh my gosh. See, here we go again. Let me go to my let me go to my, YouTube and subscriptions, and I'll tell you who I watch and pay attention to, but, yeah, Just Get It Done Quilts, uh, Sister Chicks Quilting, I just started watching. She's kind of a normal person. Oh, Laura was So Very Easy. She's pretty good to watch. I like to watch her. Um, City's Edge. Watch them. Oh, Jordan Fabrics. They put out a lot of videos, and I don't know Donna Jordan. I don't know how popular they are. There's some controversy that comes up online when you Google them, but I don't know. They're they're pretty good though. I like to watch her videos and see what's happening.
Okay, I gotta get rid of dogs,
Um,
hold
okay. I kinda watch, the Quilting Marine. Can I keep talking while you do that? Okay. So, Tatterly Quilts, I watch her because she does Janome, so I kinda pay attention to that one. Free Spirit Fabrics, I like to keep in contact on that page just to see what they're doing because they have so many different designers, and I like to see what they're up to next. So, um, let's see. Deb Tucker. I really like those. I don't know if anybody else does or not, but I really um, like to watch her videos. She's pretty good. Uh, I don't know who that is. Can't remember. Um, Terry Rowland, I think she's in Canada too. But she's done, color wash quilts and, uh, her temperature quilts. They're pretty popular. I watch Carol Thielen. Is that how you say her name? She's, Thielen. Uh,
No idea.
I mean, she goes way back, so, uh, I think that's about it. I mean, that's probably not a great list, but that's the gist of it. Those are probably not real popular people, I don't know. Some of them are, um, but, that's my list, so I don't usually watch I listen to my audiobooks while I'm sewing, so I don't really have anything going. Usually in the morning when I'm drinking my coffee and trying to wake up, uh, if my I live here, I'm gonna say this word again. I live rural, so whenever, whenever it's like it is today, windy and icky and getting ready to storm, my internet's not or my antenna's not the best, so I can't watch the news or real TV, so I have to put it on YouTube, and that's when I usually catch up on some of these videos, but, yeah, I'm probably not the best one to talk about this. Sorry.
We're just totally disqualifying ourselves from the last hour. Okay. That's what we do here.
Yeah,
Uh,
right? Oh, gosh.
yeah. Anyway, I think it's, something to watch the quilting evolve, and people kinda come and people go, and people were hot, 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 and now they're not. And I think
Yeah,
you have to I think you have to remember too, if you are one of these people that, it takes a lot of energy to be, um, successful, and, if you don't if you're I don't know, if you're wanting to do this forever, you need to have a plan on how you're gonna do that. Um, does
right,
that make
and,
sense?
it does, and there's also the idea of burnout, you know? A lot of people, don't think about it when you're going into something like this where you're, doing this on a weekly basis or, there's some people that do this, oh, yeah, that Becky with power tools, I think she records every day. That's hard.
Oh, yeah.
I can't I mean, we do it weekly, you know,
We're
and,
we're already struggling.
yeah, and she does it every day, so that's pretty commendable for her, but I know when I first started long arming and I got into it after a few years, I was like, "I'm done. I can't even look at a quilt anymore," you know? And I sold my machine, I sold everything, I donated 7 trash bags of fabric, but the reason I had 7 trash bags of fabric was because I didn't have time to mess with it. I was so busy, with the long arm part of it that I didn't take time to do my own thing. So my creativity was just going into quilting the quilts and not doing stuff for myself. So these people that do this on a daily basis, that's gotta be hard. I can't imagine how they do it. So that's my 2 cents about it. Then I did buy another quilt machine, as you know, and realized my body wasn't up to it. So I have stopped, but I still look at them and go, "Gosh, I wish I had that machine." And I can't, I know I can't, but boy, I sure wish I could.
I get it. Okay, well, I think we beat that dead horse, um,
Ah, I think so too.
as only Mary Beth and Donna can do. So, um, this is just this we're just trying to tickle your ears a little while you're sitting there sewing or not doing anything else. So, just hope you enjoy the banter. If you want to subscribe, that would be helpful to us. And if you have any questions, you can ask us. I did look on um, our analytics today and on podcasts, which is the Apple forum. We've had 308 plays so far. So
Wowzee.
woohoo! Yeah,
Cool. Woohoo, that is
we
cool.
got 35
So at least
engaged
we
listeners.
I mean, at least I know 2 of those are mine because 'cause I've listened to it probably twice. So
That's good. Good for you. Okay, some of the things that we have coming up include. I think we're going to talk. Well, we're going to talk with hopefully Amy and her husband
Frank,
Frank next week. And we are setting up a time to speak with Jean Ann Wright, who is a well-known quilt historian and quilt appraiser from Colorado. She's fabulous, and she's going to talk to us about that and also how to tend and care for your quilts because I know at one time she had over 600
okay, I
antique
think we
quilts.
have,
So done everything we can do
that's
here. We
pretty
appreciate
amazing.
you listening.
I would love to see her
We might have
quilts.
some weather today. We're on the very edge of the weather. Mary Beth, are you supposed to get bad weather?
Yeah, it's supposed to, we're marginal, but it looked like it was gonna sweep right across, and then this afternoon about 3:30, it's coming back through another one, and it's supposed to be a little rougher, so
Okay.
just paying attention to it today.
Yeah, well, hang in there and we will chat again. We will get to sleep in the same room next week.
Woohoo!
And we will chat then also. So have a
Okay.
great day.
See ya, you too.
Well, now you know what Mary Beth and Donna think about influential quilters in the quilting world today. We know it was a little flaky, but we hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.